Now let's consider the Goomba. Mechanically, the Goomba is a box of damage that moves from side to side. You could represent it wholly with a red cube. When you jump on it, it stops existing. An artist's job when making a video game is to contextualize these concepts in a cohesive way, blending the game's mechanical and aesthetical aspects so you don't even think about the layer below, the jumbled mess of code that keeps the world turning. Goombas do this well on a surface level. They're evil mushrooms. But when you think more about the world, it gets confusing. In Super Mario Bros., they're just walking around. They have no real personality. They're a single sprite that flips. While the 3D games show them actively chasing Mario, and in Wonder you can see more clear aggression and even satisfaction with harming you, it's easy to ask questions. Are these Goombas inherently hostile? Do they even know Mario? They're supposedly part of Bowser's army, but you just kind of have to take the manual's word for it. What if they're civilians and Mario is just stomping them for convenience's sake? Questions like these are some of the lamest pedestrian garbage you can imagine. I'm all for critical thinking, but the critical answer here is that the Super Mario franchise is allergic to a good and engaging narrative. However, in the greater context of gaming, it's something interesting to think about. In real life, I imagine a good majority of you haven't had to really let the concept of death sink in, and I'm gonna say nobody has killed a person themselves, unless you're like some emo boy serial killer watching this, in which case my DMs are open. YouTuber and yoga ball enthusiast Nakey Jakey refers to this as the gator under the bed, and that a good amount of video games have you basically slaughter a small city's worth of people as a necessary form of challenge without really addressing it. Video games are an inherently narcissistic art form with how everything revolves around you and what you're doing. So most games have the philosophy of, hey, if you don't want to talk about the gator under the bed, we're not gonna talk about the gator under the bed. From here, literally any writer on this planet will immediately want to invite the gator for a spot of tea with cheese and crackers, because as a writer, if there's anything we love most, it's seeing someone's beautifully constructed building and violently slamming a wrecking ball into it and building our own from the scraps. There's two types of deconstruction that fall under the scale of idealism versus cynicism. Yes, I do read TV tropes. And we're going to talk about two games that fit under the exact opposite sides of the spectrum. These two games are extremely different in gameplay, tone, story, atmosphere, characters, humor, but that makes them, to me, infinitely more interesting to compare. In this, I guess I call it a video essay, but I like to call it advanced info dumping. We're taking a look at Undertale, Postal 2, and morality in video games. What we're looking for here is essentially deconstructing the concept of an enemy in a video game. In most games, you kill the enemy and you are rewarded directly or indirectly, but as video games evolved from their origins in pinball, we started to feel more emotions for the electronic bumpers of these digital planes. Here's how this is going to go. I'm going to give more generous looks at each game individually, and then afterwards we're going to review our findings and talk about what these two taught us. Starting with... Undertale is a game that, dude, I'm just gonna be honest, there's like a million better videos about it online, but just in case Vince Desi is watching, I'll make sure to explain it just for him. Undertale is about a genderless child that looks like an ugly four-planet was given sentience pulling a Humpty Dumpty into the underground. I can name them whenever I want, so let's go with, yeah, that sounds good. The plot is extremely simple and to the point, and I really appreciate how little fluff there is. You think about story-focused games, and imagine an immediate 5-minute opening cutscene, but all you need is the basic synopsis. There used to be humans and monsters on the surface until a war broke out. Humans won and sealed them underground. And then they instantly give you a blank room where you're able to get your bearings. This entire first area, the ruins, is immaculate in how much they immediately tell you about the game you're about to play. You walk up here and hello Flowey the Flower, how's it going man? And you immediately understand the basic mechanics of the game with a cutesy tutorial character until the rug is pulled out from under you, instantly teaching you to expect the unexpected. To get straight into my thesis, a lot of people cite reasons as to why Undertale is beloved, but in my opinion the most interesting part of it, the thing that has kept it alive, is its responsiveness. See, some of those popular games of all time pushed the medium with levels of interactivity. Duke Nukem 3D and later Half-Life made massive strides in the first-person shooter genre due to how much you could do in the game and how much the game would respond back. When you shoot a bullet at the wall, it makes a hole, not because it's realistic, but because you are talking to the game in the language you've been taught, and the game is rewarding you by talking back. Undertale is the most literal example of this philosophy you can find, as that responsiveness is tied to literally talking to characters. Most players on their first time through are going to listen to Flowey and get a oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, I'm scared moment before tutorial comes in. One guy, though, and Toby knew at least one guy was gonna try this, immediately went no, I don't wanna, and Flowey calls you out for it, getting madder and madder until he assumes you're actually fucking with him. This is not only hilarious, but it is also entirely in character, and there are literally hundreds of moments like this through the game. When Toriel gives you a phone early on, you can say a few different things to her. Say hi, hear more about her, call her mom, and flirt. There's plenty of responses based on what you do next, but if you call her mom and then flirt, she calls you out on it, which is extremely funny, and I definitely did that to capture footage of this. I'm normal. This feels like a very natural extension of the main battle gameplay. It's turn-based combat structured like the Mario RPGs, where you always go first apart from specific conditions, do your ability, and the enemy response. Rinse and repeat. What makes it unique is two things. One, the act command. You can fight in this game, but it's like an RPG without spells, just blindly hidden. There is some satisfaction to it, and later weapons make it more interesting, but it still feels very basic. Acting is the unique part because it's like a miniature puzzle for each character, observing their vibe and figuring out what you need to do to make them like you. Once they like you, their names turn yellow and you can spare them, ending the fight. This really makes each monster feel distinct and interesting, whereas in most RPGs, unless they have a really special ability, every encounter sort of blends in. And while there is fun to be had with strategizing around stuff like elemental weaknesses, Undertale does that same thing but with a witty edge to it. It's comparable to if your spell collection changed each fight based on the enemy you're battling. I've seen people describe the game as having comparatively weak gameplay with its focus on story, but I think you're missing the point. The story and writing blends into the gameplay. It's not like visual novels where the game is just reading. I'd compare it more to something like Phoenix Wright, where you observe a character, their mannerisms in the greater context, and deduce what choice to be made from there. Sometimes you can literally use items in a similar method to using pieces of evidence. In Snowden, there's a fight against a dog where if you use the stick, the starting weapon that most people wouldn't even think about using, you can end the fight early by playing fetch with them. It's an extremely fun and dynamic system that works because of how much it thinks about what a player would try. Sometimes acting even affects your fighting abilities if you're really weird and are mixing it up between acting and fighting. The second thing that makes combat unique is the bullet hell defense system. Another issue with RPGs is how much you're forced to just sit there and take it. Paper Mario is probably the best take on defense I've seen because it's just the right amount of challenge where you can block attacks and even outright counter them with good timing. But it's so difficult to outright negate damage, you can't avoid it for long. Undertale is closer to the Mario and Luigi series where you can easily negate all damage if you're good at defending, which works as a quick reflex-based break, especially in such an accessible RPG. However, if you allow me to play devil's advocate, it is strange in how it rewards more arcadey reflexes in a strategic turn-based RPG like this. For Undertale, it's fine, but I hope people don't see it as a solution for all RPGs. There's a depressing stigma online where I keep seeing people dismiss turn-based combat, and I hope people don't start seeing it as outdated, a relic of ancient times. There are absolutely flaws in old-school RPGs, but we can come up with creative solutions that still keep the core fun there. My one big issue with combat, though, is the random encounters. Once you figure out an encounter, it gets less and less fun every single time you play it. In the genocide route, which I'll talk more about later, it's purposely deconstructing how boring grinding is and presenting you as a monster for trying such a thing. But I'm just trying to solve this puzzle, and if I see this dude one more time, I'm gonna ruin my pacifism streak. Deltarune does this better in that monsters appear in the overworld and are gone after you fight them, plus the recruitment system that rewards you for encountering monsters multiple times. I'm not really going to talk about Deltarune much in this video since it's hard to narratively analyze a story that is literally a quarter finished, but it addresses almost every issue with Undertale. That's all fine and good, but the system wouldn't work at all without the writing, considering how focused it is on characters. And it's the thing I wish I could absorb into my brain like a symbiote. Toby Fox's #1 strength is being able to craft characters that perfectly fit into a world and are instantly extremely likable. The story, while presented as a lighthearted excuse plot, is kind of really depressing when you look into it. There's two ways to escape the underground. Use a human and monster soul to pass through the barrier, or use 7 to break it entirely. These monsters have probably waited decades to collect the 7 human souls, and finally, after all this time, a 7th human has fallen, and everyone wants to kill me for it. When I think about it like that, I sort of feel extra bad about killing them. It feels really mean to be part of the race that locked away this entire species, and then go back down and annihilate all of them. Actually, what started this war in the first place? I always falsely remembered Asriel and Kara starting the war on monsters, but no, they were already in the underground by that time. Are humans just jerks? Is this gonna be like that Jennifer Diane Reitz fanfiction where MLP characters take over Earth? Because that wasn't her best work, I'm more into bopping myself. And Unicorn Jelly, that one's kind of a banner. Anyway, when you have a cast this huge, you should be bound to run into at least one that doesn't work. And out of all of them, my least favorite is like Sunderplane, who even then is hilarious due to just being an actual living airplane and having a unique death animation of violently exploding. But every time there's a joke about anime in this game, I want to put a drill into my ear and spelunk until I stop thinking. Undertale is an extremely timeless game, except for this one running gag that just reeks of 2010's millennial bullshit. I don't like anime, Alphys. I said yes by accident. It saves it though by making a lot of sense in the context of the world. Most of the monsters' culture is stolen from garbage, and the only culture they have to themselves openly sucks. Alpha's line about anime is human history books in order to basically trick Undyne into indulging her special interest is pretty funny, and they get some good material out of it. In general, the main characters are amazing. They have such strong personalities that cause instant hilarity but still feel like full, real people that you want to help. Sadly, there isn't my favorite archetype, the psychopathic Cloud Cuckoo Lander. I love you, Cheddar. I love you, Blockhead. I love you, Bill. So, for a lack of that, my favorite character is definitely Papyrus, which sucks because nobody gets him. He's really funny, probably has the most dialogue out of any character, which helps, and I really like the jokes he delivers. It's a very strong Papyrus cadence that a lot of these other characters don't really have. You really get a feel for the game's sense of humor with the puzzles he presents you. One of my favorite jokes in the whole game is the absolutely insane randomly generated puzzle, and how it's so confusing not even he remembers it. And then Metaton brings it back in an extremely funny callback. He reminds me a lot of SpongeBob, that he's not stupid, he's just naive, which makes sense as he seems to me as kind of a newer generation monster. Still an adult, but younger than Undyne or Asgore, what have you. They did canonically just show up one day, so it makes sense. Much like SpongeBob, this innocence gets flanderized hard into being a man-child. He's not some cinnamon roll, he's just a goofy trickster that is completely oblivious. And no, he doesn't hate puns, he just gets annoyed when Sans is cracking jokes when they're on patrol. Jeez Louise, how hard is it to try some critical thinking? He makes a pun at the end of the cutscene! Did you play the video game? I've actually read interpretations of him being autistic due to having a special interest in puzzles, his high energy, his misunderstanding of social cues, and while I don't think that was the intention, it is cute to think about. And it also works really well because of how people infantilize both. That's not funny. This is gonna sound really weird, but an aspect that genuinely adds to the game is the lack of voice acting. Instead, every character has their own text box noise that gives you a general idea of what they sound like. Flowey is high-pitched and innocent until they suddenly turn sharp, Toriel is soft, Sans is literally Patrick Star. But you still see people have their own voice interpretations. Nobody's gonna get this but me, but for my money, the #1 canonical voice for Papyrus has to be Zosky from Kaput and Zosky.
Oh, shh, wait, Kaput! Beep, beep, boop, boop.
Like, literally listen to his voice.
Well, burn their villages and enslave their children, their friends, their children's friends!
He fits the archetype well, and honestly he feels like Papyrus if he had a bad influence instead of a good one like Sans. Oh my god. Kaput and Zosky are Undertale, Sans, and Papyrus.
Which, much like a brand new DVD player, or one of those gizmos that decodes at porno stations...
Did he just say porno station? What the fuck? This whole likability aspect is really important because if these characters were annoying and never shut up, you wouldn't care about them and the morality would fall apart. We all know fiction is fake, at least I hope so, but subconsciously we crave it feeling as real as possible. That's what I was talking about earlier with responsiveness. It doesn't need to be realistic, it needs to be believable for itself. We want to feel like it's a world we could go to, that we can see and feel and smell. And while there are punk games that actively challenge this, 99 out of 100 times you're trying to make a cohesive world. We all know Undertale isn't real, again, I hope, but its ability to suck you in is captivating, and even if you want to disengage, it knows. Your choices have consequences, and not in the typical binary moral choice Entitron 3000 way. You aren't just good or evil, and as long as you don't go genocidal, Sans actively tells you at the end that while you should have done better, it's completely fair to kill people that are actively trying to kill you, and the guilt you feel is more so at yourself. The game's smart enough to know that if it tells you there was a way to do better, you'll feel bad and want to do better. I only did true pacifist and genocide runs for this, so the footage you see kinda muddles my point, but take my word for it. Speaking of mud, the graphics. Okay, I kid. Undertale's art is the part of it that is most similar to Earthbound. In that it sucks, but like in a charming way that I wouldn't trade for a million years. You look at a purposely retro pixel art game like Shovel Knight or actual SNES era RPGs like Chrono Trigger and the comparison is night and day, but I don't mind it since it perfectly fits the tone. When you look closely at a lot of the sprites though, you kind of realize how absolutely scuffed they are. Papyrus has disturbing front-facing teeth, Azrael looks like if the You Are an Idiot virus and Marshy had a son that was a dog, and then the game randomly punches you in the face with really good pixel art and it's like, where did this come from? A different artist. Deltarune is more consistent with this, and the art is way better, although part of me misses the crudeness. The ruins is like 2 colors. This is something I've always thought, but it's hard to put into words. It feels like the game evolves as it goes on. And I'm not talking about deeper narrative or gameplay, that's a given, but it feels like the game gets higher quality as it goes on. There's more movement in the battle screens, the overworld looks better and more detailed. Like, look at the ruins compared to Hotland and you see what I mean, right? You look at a boss fight like Mettaton EX with a bunch of moving parts and cool animations and funny moments, and then Papyrus is just kinda standing there. It gives this feeling of the developers learning more tricks as the game goes on, without even thinking about backporting any cool stuff they learned into earlier sections. Like, look at the smooth hugging of Frisk and Azrael versus Toriel's keyframes. It really adds to the vibe, honestly. It feels like the game is building and building as the constructors are getting better and better tools. There's this sort of childish motif with Undertale. Toriel acts as a maternal figure for you at the start. All your weapons are stuff not really meant for combat, like a notebook or ballet shoes, but the final weapon, the ultimate BFG of the game, being a worn dagger, what sounds like the starting weapon for most RPG protagonists. The intro sound is called Once Upon a Time, and the ending theme is called Good Night. Flowey and Azrael see the world as a big game, which it literally is, but them seeing it as just a game so nothing matters is the cynical worldview you're trying to fight against. It kind of feels like growing up. If Earthbound is about being a child, Undertale is about those first steps into puberty, letting go of your old toys and gaining some maturity and responsibility. Not just thinking about playtime, but seeing the world and people for who they are. Again, I want to avoid Deltarune, but that game has a pretty big theme of being a late teen. Characters are on the cusp of adulthood, but not exactly there yet, and they're miserable for it. I kind of get the feeling the game will probably end with them becoming adults, maybe moving away and doing their own thing. But in Undertale, the game evolving as it goes on really helps with this feeling. It feels like the game is growing up with you and learning about itself. It even goes gay at the end. One thing that's perfect from the beginning, though, is the soundtrack. It's just banner after banner, like Ruins comes in and hits you with the and then the first real fight happens and you're hit with the motherfucking and then you get your first mini boss and it's like some weird gasp sound going and the saxophone is like and then you get to home and it's like, I want to live here forever. And then Heartache comes on and it's like, oh my god! And then you fight Papyrus and it's literally less than a minute loop, but it just goes all out with the and then Waterfall comes on and okay. Right. I can calm down now. Thank you, Waterfall. Smarter monsters than I, a humble halfling, can tell you all about the intricacies of the soundtrack. It is no secret that the music plays a massive part in this game, like all media with audio, of course, but I'm serious, the emotional high points in this game could not hit with a different OST. Like, if I put any old boss theme over Toriel, it's like, okay, whatever bitch, Triple Dog Death Barrage. The heavy hitter sounds definitely get the most love, like Bone Trussell, Death by Glamour, and oh god, I forget the name, but it's like that one boss music with Sans. It's, yeah, I don't remember. My personal favorites are the lower ambient ones. Waterfall, Here We Are, and does anyone else remember that time when, like, 2016 era Leafy is Here clones all used another medium? That is what that song is to me. It's the YouTube commentary song, which is funny because all of those dudes are the definition of amoral. Speaking of morality, while they try not to beat you over the head with the idea of sparing, the game is constantly telling you, constantly reminding you that your choices matter in subtle ways. And not just through fights, like, not through stuff that actually affects your ending, but like the little things. You know? Papyrus, currently acting as a sabotage for you, asks what you're wearing. Being honest with him, I say I'm wearing the tutu, then like a master spy I swap to another item. Later, Papyrus rings me up and tells me he lied to Undyne and told her I was wearing a bandana, the item I swapped to. I lost my mind because there had to have been specific dialogue made for me, the one person that thought of this ploy. When we talk about what makes Undertale special, what everyone needs to learn from this game, screw the morality stuff. What I want aspiring game writers to pay attention to is this. Video games make you an active participant in the narrative. If you take a pre-made narrative and cram it into a video game, it works, it can be fun, but it's nowhere near as interesting or entertaining as this. Your choices matter. That is the fantasy of Undertale. That you matter. That what you decide makes a difference. That the outcome of all monster kind depends on what you do. What you are doing right now. In a world where we are but teardrops in an ocean, we all want to feel important. We crave stories about the chosen one, the individual that shines above the rest. We can roll our eyes, but the general populace wishes they were the Ubermensch. We all want to be Luke Skywalker, we all want to be Neo, and we all want to be Frisk. At least Americans do. Maybe communist literature is different. I stopped taking my Russian Duolingo after they started using AI bull honky. You know what needs more love? The sound design. A game with great sound is one that sticks with you, that gets stuck in your head, like each little effect is a microscopic song. It is the #1 most underrated part of any piece of media, and I want to show love to more games that have really standout sounds. Every noise in this game is cohesive and feels so distinctly Undertale. The menu sounds, the little ooh of taking a hit, the ring of the phone, all the different dialogue noises, I think about them all the time. Except for the default narration noise, which is also used in At Least There Is Cheda Chedovich, and I can only think of Cheda when I hear it. Did you guys know I like At Least There Is? I guess I haven't really talked about the core gameplay aside from just explaining it. When you get down to it, it's a simple primary gameplay loop of just going through an area, solving simple but still entertaining puzzles, and going through that place as monsters and sparing them all. Stopping for gags and conversations and whatnot. You know, walk and talk. I like it. It's a great vehicle for the story and humor, but it's not a game I'm itching to replay over and over. Like, At Least There Is Chet. I should probably say my stance on RPGs, which is I like them, but I'm good with not playing them all the time. It's the kind of thing where maybe once every couple years I'll get majorly synced into one, and I'll love it, and then I'll be satisfied. I don't mind longer games, but that only means I need a longer break from it. I beat Earthbound and I felt like my entire life changed. That was a goddamn journey I went on, and I'm gonna have to wait like 5 years to get on that train again. It's important for me, as I criticize, to be transparent about what kind of games I respond to and which kind of games I don't. What I want most in a game is doing its own thing really well for a solid 5 to 8 hours, maybe more depending on the genre, and then dipping, which Undertale does, and because of that, like, kinda good, you know? I'll play an Undertale fan game from time to time, but I'm not itching for more. Undertale's systems are perfect for what it is and for the game's narrative, but that kinda means copying its homework seems like the wrong idea. If your mission is to recapture the magic of Undertale, it seems pretty backwards to just make it again. Undertale is good because it's so unique and fits its themes and ideas perfectly. It's not just Earthbound again. It has its own soul and identity. Working backwards seems, well, backwards. Inspiration and imitation are different. I point to Ribbit as a fan game that takes the mold of Deltarune and goes completely insane with it. I want to make a video on it eventually, but it's the kind of game where it's an upfront meme mod that has wardens for themes of psychological horror, and neither of those statements are lies. So, as I was editing this video, I found out that Salty DK Dan streamed Ribbit. I was really looking forward to being like the only person that would talk about this game. And the fact that he got to it before me makes me so angry that I will ascend to a new state of being. To tell the truth, I'm not exactly sure what entices people to make endless fan games. Not to say that they shouldn't, I think people should do whatever they want and have fun with it. I just don't have the same brain rot. Then again, I did just mention Shadow 2 times, 3 times now, and I'm sure many would question why a meme game could give me such brain rot, but to that I answer, you're gonna make other videos, okay? In the meantime, go play the game yourself, it's free! I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but my friend Olivia told me it, and she's the most right person ever. Metaton EX is the best fight in the game, and Deltarune is yet to top it. See, a lot of Undertale and Deltarune bosses have a whole speech and a bunch of patterns planned, but don't exactly have a complex method of sparing, so they're purposely designed so you just have to wait to fight out until they let you do your thing. I call this sparitis, due to the fact that once you realize you basically have nothing to do in the fight, you cannot just keep hitting the spare command mindlessly until you can actually impact the battle. In the EX fight, everything you do is tied to ratings. Acting, fighting, even using items all tie back to these ratings. Once it reaches a certain amount, you win the fight. If you're confident you can survive the next turn, you can boast and gradually increase the ratings until you take a hit. If you think you can excuse taking a few hits, or if you're just unconfident, you can heal turn and be rewarded for taking damage. Eat a Glamburger to get a huge boost, change clothing to get a bonus, other details like that make it really dynamic and fun. It also has one of the funniest bits in the game, which is rated an essay about Metaton, and I failed it because I panicked on what bit to do. You can see in my footage there are multiple fights where I just have nothing to do in my turn because the boss isn't done yet and I have nothing to add, and while Deltarune does this a little better with having fights that have essentially a makeshift health bar with their acts, it's still static for for a usually very dynamic game. I get why it has to be this way, and it's something I only really thought about once it was pointed out to me, but anyone currently trying to make an Undertale fan game should think about this. Even the final bosses, while climactic and perfectly fit what they need to be, aren't as strong as this from a gameplay standpoint, and I'll get into that in a bit, but Papyrus has turned my heart blue, and I'm scared. There's 5 different colors that your heart gets turned into at different points. You'd think it'd be 7 to fit the 7 human souls, but I guess Toby ran out of ideas. Red is the basic omnidirectional movement, blue turns it into a platformer, you have to jump around like a fool, and it's pretty fun. This section in Sans' fight always reminds me of the original Mario Brothers. Green is like this shield game that's kinda fun. Yellow is a shmup, Toby couldn't help himself. And then purple is like Linetopia. I don't know what to call it, but you move between these lines, and like, the ratio of these is super unbalanced. Green and blue appear once in the normal game and get a reprise in the genocide route. Yellow not only gets a major boss fight and gets built up as a cool moment, but also returns in Deltarune with literally no explanation, because Toby loves shmups that much. And then purple gets used for Muffet and literally never gets mentioned again. All the others get a reappearance in Azriel's second phase, but I genuinely laughed when I got to this point, because I realized it's this climactic comeback of everything you've learned, except for purple, which gets nothing. And even better is that you could entirely skip Muffet's fight in multiple different ways. If you hold onto a spider bakery item from the ruins and use it, the fight instantly ends. And then she says this to you, and I get too distracted thinking about I'm done talking about this game. The 3 main final bosses are Asgore and Photoshop Flowey for neutral, Azriel for true pacifist, and Sans for genocide. Photoshop Flowey is my favorite for being completely insane. It seems clearly inspired by Gygas and being a little taste of complete nightmare fuel at the end, and it personally reminds me a lot of Pander from Buster Groove 2. And like, does anyone know about that PS1 themed Death Run map for Team Fortress 2, where there's a secret final boss that's Jack Torrance from The Shining in a giant TV head tripod, and he shoots like Buzz Lightyears at you? In a game all about choice, the most impactful thing it can do is take that away. And it's amazing how Asgore sets you up as the final boss, and there's this huge moment of him destroying the Mercy Command. Fuck, and you have to fight him, and it's really cool. I actually love the Asgore fight as a pseudo-final boss, but then to really twist the knife, Flowey completely removes any hope you could have. I'm not sure we're gonna get a WTF moment better than this in a video game, because it comes completely out of nowhere and feels like legitimate eldritch horror. It's like this, the war chapter in Conquer's Bad Fur Day, and the entire third act of Ribbit that stick out in my mind. It's also a banger, and again, I feel insane for this, but I instantly get reminded of Gil's theme in Third Strike when I hear this song. Tying all the different weapons and equipment back to the 6 souls is really cool, and it really feels like a proper finale without being the proper finale. It's really fun, and the jingle for when everything turns green and nice is just, I feel the safest I've ever been. Azriel is definitely more narratively satisfying, but in terms of raw emotions and what I wish I could recreate, Photoshop Flowey is a core gaming memory for me. Although, True Pacifist definitely makes up for it with a True Lab, which is what? I don't know if this has ever been confirmed, but it's always my assumption that True Lab was made as an attempt to make something that feels like a legitimate creepypasta. Alphys leaves a vague note that honestly sounds like she's about to end her life. This line she says at the end kind of backs up this idea, and then you go down the elevator and nothing terrible so far, but then you get these demented glitchy fights that all feel like deconstructing the battle mechanics as you go up against nightmarish, well, amalgamations of past monsters. Again, this is a core game memory for me. There is a macabre sense of humor to some of them, but it always has this feeling of discomfort because it feels like everything's falling apart. In the same way that the amalgamates are melting, it feels like the code of the game is melting and fusing together, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. The plot development strongly complemented. Throughout the entire game, every time you get a save file, there's a little dialogue that tells you, oh, this and that fills you with determination. It's a cute running thing that you think gets paid off with Asgore, but then you get the lore bomb of it being a diegetic concept. Pretty much every question a first-timer would have about souls gets answered by these messed up experiments. From my understanding, human souls are pretty standard to what most people imagine a soul being, a sort of abstract form of the self separate from the body, whereas monster souls are essentially batteries that power the solidity of the monster, a sort of willpower-based energy that creates the creature. Human souls are much stronger and have this unique willpower called determination, the TLDR being that this willpower of the human soul allows you to save and load your game. Having saves and loads be diegetic is really unique, and I haven't really seen any other game try something abstract like this. I guess there's that game One Shot, but man, I can't even play as Wario Mario in it. What the fuck's the point? This reveal of Flowey also really messes you up the first time you read it. I think this is such an excellent plot twist because it's completely unpredictable but answers multiple questions, makes complete sense, and benefits the story. You kinda just assume Flowey's a monster like the others that's a sociopath for whatever reason, but learning that he's an experiment gone wrong ties him to the main cast and explains why he's able to save and load like you. And then you fight Asgore again, and dude, you feel like an entirely different person now. You're staring at him like, hey, you're looking at a man who got themselves closure. And then Toriel comes in and it's like, holy shit, Toriel is back? This is a very sweet moment where all your friends come together. A lot of these characters don't really interact with each other, so it's kinda nice to see them all shoot the shit together. Except wait, Toriel says that if Asgore wanted to free monsters, he could have left, killed 6 people, and then broke the barrier, and that frees them peacefully. Toriel, what the hell? This still means he has to kill 6 people. Imagine, the first monster ever seen by humanity in what I assume is multiple generations just comes out and kills 6 people. And then there's 1,000 more that show up and they're just like, oh yeah, hey, we come in peace. What about those people you killed? Waiting for humans to fall down is honestly way better because then you could kind of sweep it under the rug. But you just went out and killed people. This would cause a second war instantly. What the hell? Oh, hi, Flowey. As I was saying, oh god, no! Oh, no. Asriel's fight is awesome and epic awesome, but the first phase is a terminal case of spare-itis. At the very least, the acts do something. You can reduce the damage you take or dream up more items to heal yourself, but it's still kinda waiting. I'm invested, obviously, but a little back of my brain is telling me how static this truly feels. What helps is the cool, awesome rainbow colors, wow! The use of color in battles is really fun. Everything is black and white except for the blue and orange attacks in your heart. So when color eventually starts getting used, it's like, whoa, awesome! Like I said, it feels like the game is learning new tricks as it goes along. Although, and this is gonna be the most nitpicky thing I've ever said, why is Alphys in her dress? I kinda get Undyne being in her casual outfit because he showed up like that, but I don't know. To me, it would have made more sense to have Alphys in her iconic lab coat, and then Undyne in her battle armor as a lost soul, since that's what you fought her, and then she turns back into casual when she's freed. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. This form of Asriel has done more for furries than most full pieces of media, and this form of Asriel has done more for me than most full pieces of media. The second phase makes up for the spare-itis in the first with some of the coolest stuff I've seen in a finale. You feel so much more like an active participant, and it feels so cool to save all your friends. And then you realize you have to save Asriel, and the music starts blaring, and it hits so hard. The emotions are so strong here. I want to end this on a high note, so I'm going to talk about the genocide route, then circle back to the ending and talk about the whole emotional core. Problem is, I now have to do the whole genocide route. Let me just remove myself of all guilt, and perfect. This run is being done by Not Gaby. You can't pin this on me. This is the most bored I've ever been. How bored? I wrote this paragraph as I was grinding in Hotland. It's not necessarily a new or hot take that Genocide Route sucks and is boring and should never be done just because it's a waste of time. The whole purpose of it is that it's this sort of forbidden fruit. It's in the game and it's a whole other route, so you should do it to do everything, right? No, because in order to do it you have to kill every single enemy in the game, including having to grind for hours. Just because it is in the game doesn't mean it should be done. It's miserable. But to be honest, there is a darkly comedic edge that gets swept under the rug. When I fought Sans, I realized I was low on items, so I walked all the way back to Burger Pants to get more legendary heroes and walk back, and the atmosphere of this was so hilarious to me, it sticks out of my mind more than anything. Again, there's a very deadpan, depressing sense of humor with one hitting every single boss monster in one go, especially when they hit you with weird curveballs like Mad Dummy getting so mad they turn into Glad Dummy, which I never heard of until this playthrough and completely floored me. This is a narrative analysis, so I guess I'll narratively analyze a bit, and okay, guys, this is my first time playing this route. I've never seen a full playthrough of it. I had no idea Flowey is essentially another player. It feels... how do I say? Flowey to me feels like staring down someone with advanced level Undertale brain rot. They've gone through so many punished arcs, their brains have calluses. There's 1,000 things I haven't tried in this game, and I'd be shocked to find them out. Hell, I've never heard this entire monologue before, but to him, it was Tuesday. Funniest thing is when he calls out anyone that's watching a playthrough, which is the only thing we can agree on. All my homies play games they never heard of for themselves and become hopelessly obsessed. Like, at least there is. Sans is also really interesting here. You really see a side of him you don't normally finally get. And I'm so sorry, Sans fans. Holy shit. People get this dude so wrong. The implication I got from this monologue is that Sans knows about saving and loading and knows about resetting, but can't control it or even notice when. He's the least determined character, so of course he lacks the ability to know of it. Sans is weak, but he's smart and tricky, hence why he deals so little damage on a technical scale, but he has a bunch of dickhead moves, like poisoning you and placing damaging objects on the HUD itself, compared to someone like Azrael who is flashier and far more powerful, but doesn't really break convention much. He doesn't know when there's a reset, he just knows it's going to happen, and that's why he cares so little, and also why he's trained himself to try and guess what's going on based on your face. If you listen to his entire monologue in a pacifist route, then load your save, he notices that you probably have heard this before, and if you keep playing along, he pranks you across time and space. It's really funny, but kind of a shittier deal than someone like Flowey, because Flowey knows what you did. Sans just knows at some point, can't tell when, that it's all going to start over. Frisk, or Kara, or us, not sure who he's talking to specifically here, but he knows we're the anomaly that keeps saving and loading. It really recontextualizes his character. I think the implication is that he's afraid of you, and that he hopes by being supportive he can steer you onto the right path. It really highlights how much you really messed up. Also, I'm sorry I'm super all over the place, but there was something I just noticed on this playthrough that I haven't seen anyone talk about. I'm sure someone has, but I've never seen it. So, Battle Against a True Hero, the Undying the Undying theme. Great fight, beat it first try. It sounds vaguely like a remix of her main medley, but it's not exact. There isn't a part where it really lines up. But I knew I heard the leitmotif elsewhere, so I was thinking, and then I realized it shows up in Power of Neo, the Metaton Neo theme. Great fight, beat it first try. Considering how hype-inducing these songs are, I wonder if the intended implication is that these aren't the themes of the bosses, but for Kara. This gets supported by Megalovania also not containing Sans' motif, but it's not the same medley. Okay, I'm done with the genocide route. Kill Sans, get to max level please. There's a lot of theories on Sans bleeding here, and something I never noticed that I find really funny is that despite having 1 HP, he's able to survive for a little while after. And considering sleeping raises your HP higher than your max, it's my belief that Sans briefly survived here because he had hundreds of HP due to constantly sleeping. The blood? I don't know, maybe it's ketchup.
That's not ketchup!
Oh, my bad. Remember what I said about taking control? This is the moment where it's ripped away from you entirely, where you're punished for your misdeeds, where you have nothing left. See, I told you it wasn't me! Yeah, go ahead, take my save. Guess what? I have the ultimate counter. Backup save deletion attack! Wow, that was really unsatisfying. But I guess it's kind of the point. Can I go on a rant? I don't like throwing stones, because frankly, I'm just a small fish in a huge pond of sharks that have spent lifetimes analyzing this game. But I'm about to throw hands at the Undertale fandom for making me think Kara is a good person. And yes, it's Kara because it's short for character, deal with it. The belief I was told was that Kara isn't a villain in the slightest. They're molded by her actions and are kind and true pacifist but cold in genocide, and that there's no real evidence that Kara is the monster the fandom portrays them as. First off, can you blame people for characterizing them as evil when their only on-screen appearance is in the genocide route? Do you think maybe there's some association to be made? Maybe purposefully? Like, if Kara is influenced by you directly, you'd think the game would show this? Second off, Kara's an asshole. You're gonna have to forgive my lack of footage because I really didn't want to go all the way back to the beginning of the game to talk to this dope, but Azrael outright states that Kara wasn't really the greatest person. Kara hated humanity and planned with Azrael to purposely die from poison so they could turn into a god named Chazriel, but friends call them Chaz, and it's directly stated in the script that they were going to kill a bunch of humans, and this is from a good person?
That's just a play about assholes!
I understand if you didn't read this dialogue before, I didn't either until making this section, but if you watch the tapes in the True Lab, it's made pretty clear that Kara's plan was to free everyone via fusion-induced genocide. Third, this is Nera Kara. I got gaslit into thinking Kara was actually so nice because you people regurgitated it from Nera Kara. I don't mind Nera Kara at all. I think it's a cute theory, but I can never truly believe it because it's clearly not intended by Toby. As an idea, very sweet, but if you're trying to push it as a concrete thing, explosion spell. Discussing Undertale lore is like playing Monopoly. Everyone thinks they remember everything, but 90% of the info they've gotten is years worth of the telephone game etched into their brains, to the point that you're basically not even talking about the same game. The amount of lies I've been fed about this game's intricacies could cause a literal gaslight to go off. I don't know anything anymore. Is Alphys actually bisexual? Is that real? I read that once. Is that true? I'm done. I don't know anymore. I don't know! I will never trust a bitch who kids this MF ever again! Okay, I'm done. Final thoughts time. Undertale is about choice. That's the main deciding motif that ties the mechanical and aesthetical aspects together. Everyone's story will be slightly different. To say there's a right way to play the game feels dirty. For example, I talked to this frogget in the ruins really early on, and I told him that yellow names for sparing is stupid, so I eventually haggled him into making them all pink. And then in Waterfall, in the garbage area, you can see a pile of yellow names, which is extremely hilarious. To say there's a right way to play the game feels dirty. But the game certainly wants you to lean to pacifism. It lets you make mistakes, it lets you screw up, but it won't blame you for defending yourself. There's no good or evil meter. You should spare everyone, but they openly admit you're on the defense the entire game. Hitting back might not be the wisest option, but it's entirely understandable. You're human. The only time the game truly chastises you is when you become less of one. When I beat the genocide route, I was satisfied and it was cool I finally experienced it for myself, but I felt empty. When I beat True Pacifist for probably the 4th or 5th time now, I still felt good. I felt something new. I like Undertale a lot. I always did and I'm always gonna, but something new bit me this time around. Playing it for a purpose, to look back and analyze, it felt really nice and fresh. It felt different somehow. And I think I love this game more than I did before I started writing this. It's becoming a pattern with these videos that I start seeing the thing I review through rose-tinted goggles afterwards. Undertale deserves every bit of hype it gets, not for being some achievement in morality or some circle-jerking crap like that, but because of how real it feels. I don't want every game to be about pacifism. That isn't the design lesson we should take away from Undertale. Not every genre can gel with that, and not every story really agrees with that. But what almost any game can learn from is the responsiveness and likability on display. These characters feel real, they're enjoyable in any form. There's a reason why it inspired a generation. That True Pacifist ending is one of the best endings I've experienced in a game. I got super emotional when it happened, even though I knew what was coming, because it just hits so well. It's so nice having all your closest friends and allies here together. This little moment where the whole main cast plays off of each other is so fun and so sweet. I can absolutely see why there's so many wacky found family house AUs out there, because the dynamics these characters have are incredible. Are Toriel and Esco ever getting back together? No! She's mine! That sunset hits, man. This ending hits. It makes me want to go outside and appreciate life. It feels so nice. I'm kind of glad we're never getting a sequel to Undertale. It's such a perfect, optimistic end. I feel like if there was some kind of sequel in whatever form, it'd basically have to be about humans and monsters learning to come together. I don't know, I don't want to see Papyrus deal with racially charged police officers throwing tear gas into his house because Flowey called in a fake bomb threat to the local high school. Actually, I kind of do want to see that now, but not canonical, dear god. Deltarune is the perfect continuation to Undertale, and it's very, very different while still appealing to the same humor and lovable characters. All in all, Undertale is a smart game with a good heart about being kind to all, and especially that being kind is easy, and sometimes that little bit of kindness is enough. Be good to everyone you can. You never know what's going on inside somebody. We're all human. We're all filled with determination. Postal 2 is a game where later in the video I'm gonna say, on Friday you get gonorrhea, and this is actually a perk since your piss stomach makes anyone vomit on command. Please don't click off the video. Postal 2 is the sequel to Postal. This makes sense so far. A top-down shooter in the late 90s. A quaint game about an insane person going on a rampage. And it was one of those games that caused massive outrage when it came out. Keep in mind, video games were still a pretty new medium, and a game even having a mature rating was a new concept, debuted in 3 years earlier. 3 years before this video was made, we were all talking about yee-ass haircuts and discovering what a spam ton is. While a lot of the uproar is pretty ridiculous, you can understand people's fears about this new and daring medium. Yeah, video games are 30 years old, but we were still getting the idea of realistic graphics around our heads. Of course, nowadays, it seems like those fears are justified, because AAA games now appeal to the weird kid in class that showed you live leak videos. Postal 1 is edgy for sure, but honestly, I find it significantly less disturbing than whatever the hell Mortal Kombat is doing now. I get the feeling the reception of Postal really made the developer Running with Scissors think, and Postal 2, released in 2003, feels like a direct response to the hate in a lot of ways. Undertale was a lot broader of an exploration because I get the feeling most people watching are intimate with it, and it just felt better to explain the game like that, but Postal is more niche and has a lot of highlights, so I'm going to be taking you through as much as I can linearly. The game starts, and this ambience sounds like a FNAF fan game. The intro really sets the scene as it has two people arguing as a police officer beats a homeless man. This is Paradise, Arizona, and I'm Canadian and I've never been anywhere in the US except for California and Florida, but I imagine this will give me an accurate representation of American home life. I mean, immediately the main character, the Postal dude, I assume a play on Doom guy, complains about the heat, a broken AC, gets yelled at by his wife referred to in-game as the bitch, and then his dog champ pees on him. If that scene of him kicking a dog made you upset, I like to believe this isn't canon. Basically every game after this is based around the dude's love for Champ. That is the only thing important in his life. Postal 2, unlike other FPS at the time, is more comparable to a collectathon in terms of structure. You're in a small hub world with a list of missions, and you can immediately do them or you can go screw around. Monday is simple. Get your check at Running with Scissors, pick up some milk, and cash that check in the bank. Yes, you work for the company that made Postal 2. It gets funnier, don't worry. These are very important in setting the game's tone, but first I need to get weapons and drugs. You can immediately get a shovel from your neighbor, who I guess you live in the backyard of, but immediately you can see them play with game tropes because people react pretty naturally to you breaking and entering.
Get the hell out of here!
Most melee weapons in Postal 2 are pretty weak. You'll see the exceptions, but most people in the street can't get killed in one shot. Thankfully, this guy randomly enters and I immediately get a shotgun, and then I invade this guy's house, get a knife, get his pistol, and eviscerate him. Your bread and butter weapons are the pistol, machine gun, and the shotgun, my main workhorse for most of the game. It's powerful, it feels excellent, and with a headshot you can take down almost any threat, to the point where I honestly feel bad because there's a ton of weapons I ignore. At least I can go to the nightclub and dance my troubles away. I spent a lot of my time in this club, I'm not sure why. I also spent a lot of time appreciating this young man, who was having a great time dancing by himself. Honestly, I find games with detailed NPC days boring. I don't really want to see some asshole go to work and then watch cartoons. I want to see a peek into a man's life, a single frame, and imagine. What leads a man to do this? Will he ever stop? What does his future lay in hold? It is, for a word, enthralling. Anyway, I got bored and kicked an ATM to get money, and this introduces the game's police system. Getting arrested is theoretically a punishment, but spoiler alert, I get arrested literally every single day because you can reap massive rewards from it. I feel like they should stop giving me my matches in my jail cell, but I get the feeling that they just didn't think it'd be useful to confiscate, and therefore were blinded to its existence. I can return the favor, however, by raiding their locker room and getting two important things: a police uniform and a health pipe. When you get the police outfit, unlike in real life, you shouldn't kill cops, as it basically lets me do whatever I want unless I harm another police officer. Health pipes are a rare healing item that puts you up at 125 health. This is extremely useful as other health items are just random food you scarf down for 2 to 10 health, so having a max health potion with overheal makes this super high in value. Issue is, if you take one you get addicted. After enough time the dude will go through withdrawal and you have to smoke another one or you take a ton of health. It's comparable to Joy and Lisa, except the game is rewarding you by letting you get high. The best Postal 2 players like Civ 11 can keep him high an entire playthrough. I'm not as good as that, but I'm cracked out most of the time. Do you feel the shift in tones since the last game yet? Check this out though, I can befriend a dog and get him to attack random people.
Look at the man!
Move along.
Good boy. Dog treat? That's just disgusting. Okay, no more goofing around, I can finally get the milk. In the store, there's a random amount of people in checkout, serving no purpose other than to make you bored. You can get the milk, wait in line, and pay $5 for it, or you can get it, kill the cashier, and fight your way through the back rooms of the building. I'm not at liberty to talk about any potential stereotyping here. I'm just gonna say that this game is funny for its gameplay, and not for the writing. Point is, not only is the violent option more fun, more engaging, and can take less time if you rush through, but the pacifist option is boring and punishes you. You can get a lot of weapons and items in the back room, whereas the morally correct option costs you money. Properly playing this game basically always makes you look like a psychopath. Like when I get to the Running with Scissors office and, knowing what's happening next, I cover the floors in gasoline and get ready to light a match. But first,
Nothing personal, man, but you're fired.
But I just started yesterday.
Unlike in real life, you shouldn't kill Vince Desi. Running with Scissors employees are your friends and will help you in gunfights if they're around. And now the protesters come in, and just let a match here and no more protesting. Mike J, did you just walk out of the fire? Oh yeah, ignore that I have a cat on my shotgun. That's a silencer. It's upsetting, but the cat doesn't actually die or seem to be hurt. He's kind of uncomfortable. He'll be fine, guys, don't worry.
I think I'll need to keep an eye out for these folks. They're definitely hazardous to my health.
When any of these guys are on your list, they'll basically go for the throat the second they recognize you. Monday is dead set and set on the tone because a very similar situation happens at the bank where... Oh, hey guys, what's up? There's an even longer line at the bank, except I think mine glitched out. Have no idea why. Doesn't matter because there was immediately a bank robbery, and I tried taking advantage of it to sneak into the vault with them, but they started shooting at me, and then I got lost in the Minotaur's labyrinth. Thank God I had donuts to keep my health up. In the timeline where I don't do any of that stuff though, and I get ungodly tired of waiting and throw a bundle of dynamite that misses and shoot a white woman, I end up becoming the bank robber. This is some butterfly effect cosmic correction shit. If I keep my inhibitions in check, then something goes wrong anyway, and I'm punished for having to fend off bank robbers. I suppose this is the consequence of having vending machines that give out guns and ammo. This wasn't even originally in Postal 2, this got added in with the Paradise Lost expansion. And even after that, this game still gets updates. Anyway, that's my final errand for today done, and it's time to go home. A really nice thing they do is that once you finish the last errand, the next loading zone you enter just skips you right back to your trailer. It's really nice. On Tuesday, I have to confess my sins at church, that's probably going to take a while, get signatures for my petition, return my library book, and get an autograph from Gary Coleman. Fuck the petition mission. This petition mission sucks. You have to ask a bunch of NPCs to sign it, and maybe there's some way you could tip the scales, but this thing is basically random to me. At the very least, the locations to stay are pretty all over the place, so you'll get plenty of walking time to ask random people. Wait, was that sound? It's the parade! Must enjoy music and not be mean. I can't help it, these guys are like bowling pins.
Go long.
The parade is actually a running gag in the series, as they're also in the original Postal. A trick this game really enjoys doing is having a large group of annoying people and then you walk by without opposition. This really shows how much of this game is a response to people calling the previous game evil. Here, it's only as violent as you make it. You can beat the game without firing a single shot, avoiding conflict, and just going about your day, but the raw epicaricacy is too sweet. They know the kind of player you are, and you just want to, I can't not do it, I have to. I'm at the library now, and there's just a shotgun in this random door, and like, why? Why are there so many random guns around this town?
Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition?
What did I even do there? Oh yeah, it was probably the shotgun I was holding. Also, I got lost here for a while, but I eventually found my way. Just have to schlop the book in there. 3-pointer.
Finally, it's about time you showed up.
Sorry I'm late. Somebody blew up my car.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. That line is a complete non sequitur if you've been playing carefully, and it entirely depends on the idea that you, 100%, were the guy that blew up that car. The game isn't just encouraging you to be a psychopath, it is expecting you to be one. This joke makes more sense the more evil you are. Anyway, the library gets set on fire, but I'm good. I've read about surviving fires. I actually have a book I read when I was a kid. Just keep walking and headshot any book protesters you see. The shotgun is really powerful and is the best denial ability, although you have to get close enough that you will trade some health, on top of the fire that you can cure by pissing into the air. Just smoke a health pipe when you're feeling low, it's fine.
Can we all just get along?
And that's another group that doesn't like us. Expect a running theme. Oh crap, I don't have a police uniform. Hold on.
Would you please sign my petition?
No way, you freaking pinko.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh, that's it!
There we go. Now we just start another fire, and alright, let's rock and roll. It is here where I learned that you are literally encouraged to be annoying. If you spam someone to sign your petition, they will eventually crack. Get some dog treats along the way, and with a skip and a bunny hop, we're off to meet TV's Gary Coleman. Yes, Gary himself is in the game and voices himself. If any of the footage you are about to see makes you uncomfortable because the real-life Gary is no longer with us, I'll have you know he signed off on this and approves of it. Look at the back of the box. I need to find a shortcut to the mall. Let's see if I can... Yep, there we go. I'm walking on sunshine. Ooh. Oh, hold on, I need money. There we go. Finally found the scissors in this game, which means I can finally do as the developer suggests and run with them. Thanks, RWS. In the mall, you can see Gary on the lower floor, and... Come on. Come on! Damn it, I can't get down there. Drastic times call for drastic measures. I'm coming for you, Gary! Now from here, you can either A, wait in line for an astronomically long time to get a copy only for the police to run it and oh shit, Gary's gone rogue, we need to neutralize him! Or B... this is unrelated to my plan. Or B...
Smells like chicken.
thanks, Gary.
Close enough.
Thank God for this police uniform. On top of that, if your ex had a profile picture of Gary Coleman's 3D model and you were deeply traumatized by it to the point of not being able to look at him, you can also just go into this bookstore and buy a copy.
That'll be $100.
I'll just take them when you're not looking. What? I said I was gonna rob you.
I had 3 copies of this book by the time I left the mall.
Hi.
Hi there.
Is this everything?
Yes.
That'll be $200.
Man, I don't have that kind of money. It's a bit sad that a lot of my favorite part of this game is being cut out of footage for being boring, but something I really appreciate is just walking around the town of Paradise. There's a lot of funny gags on billboards and just nice places to look at. It really is a walkable city simulator. Paradise is very memorable, and while my memory is fuzzy, I can remember basically every major location because something worthwhile happens in it. It's like a hometown away from home. Ain't got shit on the epic crossover RPG though. It's got a beach, a ramp from the beach, the shop that people would sit in for 3 hours waiting for an RP that would never come. Does Paradise have Peach's Castle? I don't think Paradise is Peach's Castle. This intersection is gonna be where I wake up when I die. I remember right here, I found another Sapphire Kirby who roleplayed as a government agent with a guy he talked to in his earpiece. And the very next day, I wanted to roleplay as a Sapphire Kirby who was a government agent with the guy he talked to in his earpiece. Whoever made this, your name is lost to the sands of time and that I couldn't find it on Google in 5 seconds, but I will give you head one day. Is head sexually neutral? I wouldn't want to assume, it's just kind of a funny slang word, but the thing is it specifically refers to... I'm not continuing this thought. Well, after enough wandering around, I managed to get to church. And there's health pipes! There's health pipes at church! Can you believe this? This is disgusting. I mean, who just lays drugs around the place? Ooh, money! I kind of messed up here because in this part you're supposed to wait for the line to get in the confession booth, but I think me smoking up and also shooting a priest earlier kind of messed things up, but as an apology to the game, I sat and waited like a good girl until I can confess my wrongdoings.
Bless me, Father, for I have really sinned. Really? I'm not kidding here. Big sinner. Yep.
Did you drop an offering in the box?
Yes.
Then you are forgiven, my son. Next!
Thanks. Close enough.
And that's all the errands for today. Let's just get out of here and oh god damn it. Okay, I'm not comfortable talking about this in great detail, so I'm gonna just get out as fast as humanly possible. Thankfully, I have just the item for that. See, you can get catnip to attract cats, which is something I don't even have footage of because the other thing you can do with it is way more fun.
Whoa, baby.
Time is now ultra slow and we can breeze through this area, take it down any hostiles. This one is for my MCJC! Oh my god, it's a rocket! I want that launcher, give it here.
Hey, did you get Gary Coleman's autograph? I can get a small fortune for it on eBay.
Right, a small fortune. Say, aren't those things more valuable after the person is, deceased?
Yes, why?
No reason. Can I borrow your computer?
I could fix it. Alright, it's Wednesday. Dusty Puppy Wednesday, everybody. We gotta vote, get a Christmas tree, and pay a visit to dear old dad. I can't really relate. I don't have any family members with urinary humiliation, dead or alive. Unless internet mommies count, then I have a few lowlives to send into the grave. But enough about topics with discussing with a professional. I have psychopathic behavior to indulge. I guess I haven't really talked about the fundamentals of Postal 2. That's because the core gameplay isn't like other games I'm into, where I can more easily talk about your essential skills. Gunfights in this game are very simplistic and don't have the high-speed movement of Quake, the opportunity for ingenuity of Half-Life, or the goofy multiplayer customization of Time Splitters. It's a very simplistic exchange of using your best weaponry and spamming health items. You can really feel the game's jank grinding against you like an oversized boat caught in a starboard. It's hardly effervescent. If there's some advice I can give, it would be to always look around. More of Paradise gets opened up every day, and checking areas you've already been to can give you rewards or let you see new stuff happening. As an example in my playthrough, you can notice how every time I enter the police armory, there's new weapons there, and as the days progress, more weapons are scattered to the town. On Monday, I basically only had my bread and butter, but on Wednesday I found my favorite weapon in the game, the sawed-off shotgun. This absolute boomstick tears through ammo, but does insane damage to the point of feeling broken. High-power weapons like the napalm launcher have rare ammo and are dangerous to use indoors, but the SOS can melt an enemy to nothing, has an extremely common ammo type, and I just found it in a bush. It was just laying there. Oh, also I voted, and can a 40-year-old in the comments explain the jokes on this, please? I don't have the energy. Also, I got arrested here. Every time you get sent to jail, you end up in a different cell, and I swear to God they had to have known because you get closer and closer to the locker room each time. Damn, is that Old Man Murray? I wonder how many people are gonna recognize this stuff. I get the feeling since I'm covering Undertale and Postal in one video, the viewership is gonna be a surreal mix of like 16 to 20 something art students and English majors that have never heard of this weird niche indie game called Postal 2, and then 30 to 40-ish millennials and Gen Xers that keep getting called boomer that are infinitely smarter with computers than I will ever be, that have never heard of this weird niche indie game called Undertale. Damn it, I can't resist. Oh boy, what a nice parade. This sure is a beautiful ceremony. Oh god, the elephants are mad at me. I didn't do anything, I don't know why, but they've gone rogue. Oh god, I'm sorry, I hate this, I need my health pipe.
This can't be good for me, but I feel great.
Alright, now I don't care. I kind of forgot this whole forest area is in the game. You only really needed to get a tree, and are those people eating dog treats? The hell? Give me that. I got kind of lost in this area because there aren't any real landmarks until... My god, it's beautiful!
He's looking at my favorite Christmas tree, Earl. What do you think we should do, Billy Joe Bob? We gonna do it here? Let's open his Christmas package early, Billy Joe Bob.
Oh god damn it, can I just do something in this town without someone wanting my head? Well, at least I get to show off the power of the sawed-off here. Brutal. Phew, the elephants have been tamed, thankfully. It's so beautiful. I have to ruin it. These elephants are probably the jankiest thing in the game. They're so scuffed, something about them feels like they don't belong, like they're a mod. They register as deep space aliens to me. Speaking of jank, this game has a physics engine, but it's very primitive. This came out a year before Half-Life 2, so while it has ragdolls and other fun stuff, it's pretty... What the fuck? What is the purpose of this room? Well, best make the most of it. Whee! I got really lost trying to get to the cemetery, and oh yeah, this is in the game. As a joke, the original version of this game had a place closed for renovations until 2016, and when 2016 came... This is awesome. Gary, what the hell are you doing here? There's not really much here apart from just a fun Easter egg, but it's cute. I like it. It makes me smile. Is that a problem? I'm at the cemetery now, and from what I've heard, all of these gravestones are real cut concepts that didn't make it in. I'm okay with that. Is this the right dad? I guess I could- Oh my god! These zombies were implemented on Apocalypse Weekend, and I assume they got patched in later. You have to destroy the heads to kill them. Here we go. And now it's time for the most annoying part of the game. Before every AAA game had the mission where you lose all your equipment because it's the only way to raise any stakes, Postal 2 had this goddamn quest.
I done busted up his head.
Emerging from my cocoon, I immediately have to grab a shovel and beat these guys to death.
Oh my god, I'm the damn gimp.
Oh, for Desi's sake. If having less errands than yesterday tipped you off, good job, because we have to deal with this and go get our laundry. This isn't horrible, and I honestly appreciate the challenge factor, but if you aren't stocked up on food, it can be near impossible to get through here. Like I said earlier, postal combat is extremely simple, but it is at the very least satisfying to blow someone's head clean off. I guess I could call the game an immersive sim, but that gets into the nightmare discussion of what an immersive sim really is. The general idea is that it's a game dependent on player choice, compared by developers to Dungeons & Dragons or LARPing due to following a set of rules but allowing use of of any of them to overcome an obstacle. You see a guard, you can either sneak past, fight directly, or convince them to let you through. Postal 2 is kind of like that. It is almost a deconstruction of that concept, since while you are given a choice, misery is only a step away. The best version of Postal Dude is a misanthrope who has Ash Williams levels of bad luck. This is really the only big linear section of the game, which makes it stand out a lot. It's like a peek into a timeline where the game is more like Half-Life. Especially this part that really feels like one of those weird Black Mesa rooms with no apparent purpose. It's pretty fun as a sort of gimmick level, but on harder difficulties it can be absolutely miserable.
My president is Chuck Heston. Here's your rebate, you damn dirty apes.
Dude, what are you even saying? It's a good thing that I have all this food, otherwise I'd be in the pits by now. Apart from the health pipe, you really only have food that you can shove down your throat for quick health. I had like 80 donuts here, and they each heal for about 3 health, on top of having a handful of pizza and burgers, so it's pretty set for not dying. Also, the noises you make when you spam food is really funny, so that's a plus.
That's the stuff. Well, those people didn't seem very happy with me at all. Better watch my ass.
And after all that, now all rednecks want me dead. They kidnapped me! What was I supposed to do? God, now I have to get back to the laundromat as fast as I can. I don't have a cop uniform and the gimp look will get me mocked at best. This game needs fucking alt text.
Hello, can anyone help you?
I'm here to pick up my normal clothes.
That'll be $100.
Shit.
And that is Dusty Puppy Wednesday down. The pacing in this game is extremely breakneck with almost no fluff as you just kind of do your thing. Hence the lightning fast highlight reel. Thursday. Oh, I get it now. The days repeat each week. I gotta get napalm, get a crotchy doll, get steaks, and pay my ticket. Should be easy, but first I need some health pipes. Excuse me, I thought, what the hell? I wanted to buy it legitimately. Or at least see how much it cost and then shoot you. Well, I'd better tend to my errands first. I'd like to tell you I got arrested because I wanted to get the ticket mission quickly, but in reality, I wanted to get a police outfit and crack, and then after I already left, I realized I needed to go back. But hey, that's the mission done. I assume there's another moralistic dilemma with this one, but I've literally never seen it. I just get arrested and shove it in there. Speaking of...
I need some steaks for the Psychotic Friends Network barbecue.
Psychotic Friends Network? PFNB? Is this something bad? Am I gonna get taken down for saying that? Oh my god, steaks are people! Boy, am I glad I've been playing like a maniacal hoarder this whole game, because they've really been giving me large firefight after large firefight. It's time to put all my weapons to use.
Hey, get him!
Oh, I read that wrong. Sorry, I meant to say put all my weapon to use. I'm literally just using my other weapons for the sake of novelty. Not that they aren't fun, but the sound-off shotty just wrecks everything. Thank God this isn't blood, otherwise I would have died just then. I honestly don't have much to say at this point. I've kind of made my whole point, and now we're just moving our way to the end. This game is still incredibly fun, but it definitely front-loads messaging. Honestly, this is just seeing the effects of the numbing, what Sans and Flowey and Kara talked about before, whereas the number of kills increased, the less and less it seemed like it mattered. On Monday, I killed one guy and feel like a jerk, but I just massacred a whole building of butchers, but since I'm in a cop uniform, I got away with it and just walked out.
Wow, just like in real life.
Doesn't take a genius to guess what'll happen the next time one of them sees me.
I get the game's tricks now. I'm not even trying to be a good guy. When I get to the mall and there's no crotchy doll, I waste no time barging into the back room, killing anyone that moves and grabbing the doll and running. Congratulations, game. The transformation is complete.
You think you can take Crotchy down?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Say hello to the only boss fight in the game, and the reason why there's only one boss fight in the game. It's an NPC with extremely high health and a rocket launcher. This is, to give credit, more challenging than most retro FPS bosses, but that does not make it good. Whatever, I'm just gonna grab this napalm and can I do anything in this town without somebody screaming? I'm going home, I don't need this. Let's talk about the music and sound. The entire game is ambience apart from a few diegetic songs being played in clubs and radios, hence why I've been picking mostly random background music choices. The sound design is immaculate though. Every weapon has a really good crunch to it that makes it extra satisfying.
Just kidding.
I would also be a fool if I didn't mention Rick Hunter, who along with Stephen Waite and John St. John make up the pantheon of FPS voices. I love the Postal Dude. He's cool without trying too hard, he's a complete psychopath, and the game revels in it.
But the funny thing is, I don't even like video games.
He's similar to Caleb, except he has more of an American Psycho shtick, being an everyman with a dark side underneath. Except in a award like this, I'd probably go Patrick Bateman myself. Anyway, on Friday you get gonorrhea. This is actually a perk since your piss now makes anyone vomit on command.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Ow!
Oh, God.
Aside from that, get the AC, pick up my package, and go to Uncle Dave's birthday. Ah, damn it. Okay, so normally you can go into the sewers and fight terrorists in the desert, but if you don't do the side mission, they will randomly show up on the overworld on Friday, and they are rough.
I've got a note that says there's a package for me. Last name's Dude.
We do have a package for you, but there's some postage due on it.
Fuck you.
That'll be $100.
You are lucky I have money. This is the most egregious example. I pay the lady fair and square, they get the package, and out of my control it just explodes, and now I have to kill everyone and get out. I didn't do anything! If I just kill her outright and run, I at least get the upper hand, which means I have to shoot my way out of here anyway. And it's better for me to shoot first. That's some psychotic reasoning, game. Whatever, I'll just take some catnip, give everyone gonorrhea, light them on fire, and leave the building with swagger. The flamethrower actually does help in a way my beautiful sawed-off doesn't, in that any amount of direct contact will make someone stop shooting and run around in terror. But the sawed-off also turns anyone into atoms, and hey, I've been picking up these cola cans the entire game and never using them. You wanna guess what they do? This got added in with Paradise Lost and was only recently put into Vanilla Postal 2, and god does it feel good.
And one more group offended. Guess I'm just not a people person.
I did nothing wrong.
Fuck. Ow.
Okay, in this timeline I did shoot the clerk in the face because I didn't feel like paying, but in the good timeline they also hate me, so I can't win.
Hey, Mr. Peep Show. Okay, this ought to be good. Hey, Mr.
Yeah?
Peep Show.
What?
Okay, this
Hello?
ought to be good.
Is he...
Hey, Mr. Peep
I think
Show.
he's under an unholy linguistic
Okay,
curse.
this
We need to
ought
free
be
him.
good. Mr. Peep Show.
You're welcome. I got back to the police station for their outfit, and what the hell, Gary Coleman? What are you doing here with a gimp? Hey, you're blocking the way! What, Crotchy? Crotchy, where... I gotta stop taking these pipes. These guys are rough to deal with, but it allows me to show off the sniper rifle, which... What the... Oh, now I'm stuck. Now I'm stuck. Oh yeah, I got my gonorrhea cure. I wonder what's going on with Uncle Dave.
We recommend you douse yourselves with something flammable and gather in a confined space.
You gonna be okay, Uncle?
The good book told me to make you die, then myself.
I feel like that one Spider-Man meme right now.
Hi there. Hey, Chief. I feel like shit.
That'll be $500. I'm sorry, but you need more money.
In this part, I take down like 20 dogs. I don't enjoy it, but I have to do it. Also, I want to say like 80% of my deaths in this run have been from this crusher. This is the jankiest the game gets. I got it though. Now I just have to head home and... Oh.
Normally I'd expect a fancy cinematic to explain such a crucial story element. The font is nice though.
Oh shit. The sky has turned to hellish orange, cats are raining from the sky, and everyone is armed with guns and paranoia. I can generally sneak by as long as I don't do anything stupid. Oh god, redneck scissor attack! What the hell?
It smells like shit.
There it is! That was kinda anticlimactic. I barely even got shot.
Honey, I'm home. You won't believe the day I've had.
About friggin' time. Did you remember my rocky road?
Oh, there it is. Not my best run, I'll admit. To be blunt, I kinda play this game like a coward. I get the feeling other people go way more nuts on it, whereas I'm not the type to enact random acts of violence unless I want to get something recorded. I guess that shows you the type of gamer I am. I just prefer doing what I'm told to. But look at what I did do. I am a pacifist in most games. I like playing by the rules, and here I am breaking into police stations, peeing on random people, making enemy after enemy, and every time I try to do the right thing, they spits in my face and tells me to try again. If I picked up a knife and reached for the carrots, the theater would boo me off the stage. They want me to hurt. To make people suffer. To only think about myself. to enjoy that suffering. This can't be good for me, but I feel great. Welcome to the end of the video. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be asking, what was the point of that all? I kinda just talked about two completely different games and didn't even directly compare them much, I just reviewed them both. Yeah, but really think about the taste of each of them. In Undertale, I was looking over the whole game, talking about my favorite characters, voice headcanons, cute little details I like, and then in Postal I was talking about the most effective methods of murder. I went on completely separate ends of the spectrum. I made a very, very strong point about the alternate paths in these games and what the game wants you to do. In Undertale, you can spend 4 hours of grinding to get two kind of cool boss fights, or you can play it literally any other way and actually enjoy the world and characters you spent $10 on. In Postal 2, you can be a good Samaritan, wait for your milk, pay for your expenses, avoid conflict, or you can put those random weapons laying about to use and rain chaos for fun. Consider the Goomba once again. You ask the question, why must I kill it? The optimist says you don't have to, that you can make amends, whereas the cynic makes you, tells you there's no other way, that this is a horrible world where you can't take a walk without someone that wants you dead. It makes you think of nature and nurture, how villains are shaped, how the wrong person in the wrong place can change everything. Even a right man stuck in a place that will only make him wrong. Frisk is extremely lucky, being able to live in a universe crafted by an optimist. I can only imagine what would happen otherwise. If you look in the description, you can find the cut outro for this. I really wanted to put it in, but it uses copyrighted music, so just couldn't figure out a way to do it. Please watch it, because it's the entire reason I made this video.